If you like storytime vibes, hit subscribe and let's dive in together.
I can still hear it. That one sentence that split my world in half. It was a Friday evening, the kind that smells like rain and cheap perfume. My girlfriend, Emily, was in the bedroom with her two best friends, laughing, talking, getting ready for a concert. I was in the living room, pretending to watch TV, half listening to their giggles drifting through the half open door. Then I heard it. Emily's voice, light, careless, soaked in champagne confidence. I shaved every inch of myself, just in case. The room erupted in laughter. Rachel screamed, "You're insane." Sarah's laugh was quieter, hesitant, the kind that hides discomfort behind politeness. And me? I froze. That one sentence was enough to end a 2-year relationship. I didn't need proof, or context, or explanations. Just that tone, that playful, almost proud admission that she was ready. Not for me, but for whatever or whoever the night might bring. It was as if she'd announced to the universe, "I'm available." Something inside me went cold. Not angry, not hurt, just numb. You don't realize how fragile love is until it dies mid-sentence. One moment, you're picturing a future, and the next, you're a ghost sitting on a couch, staring at a muted TV, wondering when the warmth left the room. She didn't know I'd hurt her. When she came out, radiant and glowing in a new dress, she kissed me lightly, perfunctory, mechanical. "Don't wait up," she said, smiling. "It's gonna be a late night." "Sure," I replied, voice calm. "Have fun." She didn't see it. That look in my eyes. The calm before the quietest kind of storm. When the door shut behind her, I sat in silence for 10 minutes. No music, no thoughts, just the slow realization that this, the laughter, the perfume, the lie, was the moment my love turned into clarity. And clarity is a dangerous thing, because once you see the truth, you can never unsee it. That night, while she was out having her just-in-case fun, I started planning. Not revenge, not yet, just freedom. The door had barely clicked shut when the quiet settled in. It wasn't peaceful quiet, it was surgical. Like the world was holding its breath, waiting for me to decide what kind of man I was going to be. I sat there for a long time, eyes on the blank TV screen, my reflection faint in the black glass. That was the first time I really saw myself. Not as her boyfriend, not as the dependable man who paid the rent, but as someone who'd been sleepwalking through a one-sided love story. I thought about all the small moments I'd brushed aside, how she tilted her phone away when I walked past, how work events somehow lasted until 2 a.m., how her laughter with her male friends always sounded a little too free. Every red flag I had ignored was now screaming in perfect harmony. So I stood up, calm, cold, awake, and I started packing, not in rage, but in ritual. Each item was a truth I could finally face. Her dresses folded with precision, her shoes lined up like soldiers going home from a war they never knew they were fighting, the makeup bottles and perfume, the same one that lingered in the air as she walked out, sealed carefully in a box. There was something poetic about it, in a twisted way. I wasn't just cleaning a closet, I was exorcising a ghost. By 3 a.m., every trace of Emily was stacked neatly by the door, her keys placed on top of the boxes, a silent full stop at the end of our story. I took a picture, time-stamped, not because I wanted proof, because I wanted to remember the exact moment I took my life back. I couldn't sleep in our bed, so I went to the guest room, where the sheets still smelled like detergent and neutrality. At 4 a.m., the sound of keys fumbling in the lock pulled me out of a half-sleep. She stumbled in, giggling, hiccuping, drunk. Then, silence. A soft thud, a whispered curse. Then her voice, small, disbelieving. "James? What is this?" She knocked on the guest room door, pounding harder each time. "James, open the door. What's going on?" But I didn't answer, because sometimes silence is the loudest answer a person can give. By the time the sun rose, the apartment smelled like coffee and closure. Emily was gone. Her perfume still lingered in the air, but even that seemed weaker, like it knew it no longer belonged here. I sat at the kitchen counter, sipping from my mug, staring at the pile of boxes she'd dragged out the night before. Her exit hadn't been quiet. The thud of boxes, the cries, the slammed door. But now there was only stillness, and for the first time in years, I liked the silence. There was no sadness left, no panic, no what if, just peace. The kind of peace that comes when you stop begging people to stay. I saw a crumpled note she had left on the counter. The handwriting was messy, streaked with tears. I didn't even open it. I crushed it in my hand and tossed it into the trash. That was the final act of emotional housekeeping. Then I made a call. Not to Emily. To my sister, Lauren. Lauren's a lawyer, sharp as glass, and she never liked Emily. She always said there was something too polished about her, the kind of shine that hides cracks underneath. When she picked up, her voice was calm and curious. "It's done," I told her. She didn't even need to ask what I meant. "Good," she said. Then her tone shifted, precise, professional. "Let's make sure she can't come back." I explained everything, what I'd overheard, what I'd done. Lauren listened in silence, then asked, "Her name's not on the lease, right?" "Just mine." "Perfect. That means she was a guest, not a tenant. You can revoke her access at any time. Change the locks immediately." "I already called the locksmith," I said. "Smart. Now, what about the car?" The car? The beautiful mistake. Last year, Emily wanted a BMW. Said she deserved something classy. Her credit was a disaster, so she begged me to co-sign. Against my better judgment, I did. My name, my credit, my risk. Lauren sighed through the phone. "Then she's going to use that car to control you. She'll threaten to stop paying, drag you into arguments, maybe even damage your credit. We'll cut that off before it starts." And just like that, the emotional wound turned into a strategic battlefield. Lauren wasn't just giving me advice. She was giving me armor. When I hung up, I realized something terrifyingly liberating. I wasn't heartbroken anymore. I was focused. By Saturday afternoon, I could feel the storm brewing. Not in my home, but in my phone. Messages were coming in from mutual friends. At first, they were cautious. "Hey man, what happened with Emily? She said you kicked her out while she was asleep." Then came screenshots, group chats, Emily's name flashing over and over again, framed in crying emojis and sympathy. According to her story, I had snapped. Apparently, I was a controlling, jealous lunatic who'd gone off the rails. She left out the part about her giggling, just in case. That was the moment I realized the breakup wasn't over. The war had just changed battlegrounds. I didn't take the bait. I didn't post, argue, or defend myself. Instead, I went quiet. The kind of quiet that unnerves people. And then I thought of Sarah, the quieter friend, the one who hadn't laughed as loudly that night. I found her number and sent a single text. "Hey Sarah, I know this is awkward, but was I wrong to feel hurt by what Emily said before you guys left that night?" Her reply came fast. "No, you weren't wrong. It was messed up. I told her that in the car." That sentence felt like oxygen. For the first time since Friday, I felt someone understood. I took a chance. She's telling everyone I threw her out for no reason. I'm not trying to start drama. I just want the truth to be clear. Would you be willing to share what was said? 10 minutes passed. Then my phone buzzed. A screenshot. It was from their girls' group chat. Friday, 9:15 p.m. 20 minutes after they'd left my apartment. Rachel. "That cute drummer is totally checking you out. Emily." "I know, right? Here's hoping good thing I'm ready." Sarah had replied with a single eye roll emoji. That screenshot was a loaded gun, and I didn't even have to pull the trigger. I sent it to Tom, my oldest friend, who had been skeptical but fair. "This is what actually happened. Feel free to share it if you want." Within an hour, the group chat exploded. Apologies started pouring in. "Man, I'm sorry. We didn't know." "She really said that? Damn." Her social armor cracked. The sympathy she'd milked started to evaporate. By midnight, Emily was alone in her own echo chamber, the lies bouncing back at her louder than ever. And me? I was still silent. But this time, it wasn't defense. It was dominance. By Monday morning, Emily finally realized silence was my weapon, and she didn't like it. Since I'd blocked her number, she switched to email. The subject line read, "The car." Her message was venom disguised as confidence. "You think you can ruin my life and just walk away? You co-signed for my BMW, remember? If you don't meet me and talk this out, I'll stop paying. Let's see how long your perfect credit lasts. Your move." I read it once, twice. Then I smiled. She didn't understand that she had just handed me the rope. I forwarded the email to my sister, Lauren. Within 2 minutes, she called. "This is perfect," she said. "She just gave you written proof of intent to default. That's breach of contract. You can report it to the lender before she even misses a payment." And that's exactly what I did. I called the auto finance company. My voice was calm, polite, surgical. "Hello, I'm James Carter, co-signer on loan 456C2. The primary borrower, Emily Watson, has left the address on file. She also emailed me this morning expressing her intent to stop payments. I believe the asset may be at risk." The loan officer's tone immediately shifted. "Do you have that email, sir?" "Yes, I can forward it." "Please do. We'll open a case. If the borrower's location is unstable, we may need to secure the vehicle. Do you know where the car is?" I did. Tom had mentioned she was staying at Rachel's apartment. I gave them the address. "Thank you, Mr. Carter. We'll handle it from here." I hung up, exhaling slowly. I hadn't yelled, cursed, or begged. I had simply played by the rules and let the system do my revenge for me. 2 days later, curiosity got the better of me. After the gym, I drove past Rachel's building, and there it was, poetic justice in motion. A tow truck was backing up to Emily's BMW. She and Rachel stood on the curb, shouting, waving their arms. The repo man didn't flinch. He'd seen this scene 100 times. Emily's voice cracked, desperate. "You can't do this." Oh, but they could. I watched from the street light, engine idling, not gloating, just balanced. The world had corrected itself. She had gambled with deceit and lost to paperwork, and somewhere between her screams and the click of the tow chains, I realized revenge didn't need blood. It just needed patience. A month passed. The air felt different. The apartment was clean, quiet, and mine again. I slept better, ate better, even laughed again. Not loudly, but genuinely. Sometimes I'd catch myself standing by the window at night, coffee in hand, watching the city lights and wondering how easily love can turn into a lesson. Emily had vanished from my world, but not from the whispers of others. I'd hear fragments from friends, how she was staying with Rachel, broke, bitter, burning every bridge she had left. Karma wasn't fast, but it was thorough. One afternoon, my phone rang. An unknown number. Normally, I would have ignored it, but something made me pick up. "Hello, is this James Carter?" Speaking. "Hi, I'm Linda from Oakwood Residences. We're processing a rental application for an Emily Watson. She listed you as her most recent landlord. Can I ask a few questions?" I almost laughed out loud. The audacity. "Of course," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Was Ms. Watson your tenant for the past 2 years?" "She lived in my apartment for about 22 months, I said carefully. "But she was never on the lease. She was a long-term guest." A pause. "I see. Did she contribute to rent?" "Yes." "Through PayPal each month?" "And were those payments on time?" I opened my saved screenshots, each one stamped with the date. She was late 4 times in the last year. The August payment was 16 days late. "I see," the woman repeated, her tone now cooler. "One last question. Would you rent to Ms. Watson again?" I smiled faintly. "No comment." "Understood. Thank you for your time, Mr. Carter." Click. I set the phone down and leaned back. Outside, a breeze rattled the window blinds. Soft, rhythmic, like applause. That was it. The final chord in a song that had played for too long. I didn't destroy her life. She did that herself. I simply removed the cushions that had kept her from falling. People say revenge is about power, about making someone suffer, but I disagree. True revenge is silence. It's watching the person who hurt you meet the full weight of their own actions, without you lifting a finger. It's sipping your coffee in a quiet kitchen, sunlight spilling across the counter, and knowing the storm has passed, because you ended it. Emily taught me that love can blind you, but she also taught me something better, that letting go with precision is an art. And as the city hummed outside my window, I whispered to myself, some lessons cost you peace, but some give it back.